Hey everybody, welcome back to GWN. I am Nock, your host. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about one of my favorite Night Witch attack strategies, and that would be Mitch, the combination of beta minions and Night Witches. And this episode is subtitled, it's all about Ed, because Ed down at Oz Builders has given me a whole bunch of replays, and I'm going to use those in this first look video exclusively. I've been hanging out with the guys down in Australia for the last week. It's been a good time. They're really great hosts and a very active clan. Lots and lots and lots of friendly challenges and 3-star replays. A lot of good stuff. Good fodder for the videos that I'm putting together too, which is absolutely great. Thanks again, guys, for hosting me. As I say frequently about the Night Witch, her strength is in her bats. A large swarm of bats can take down most defenses and nothing flat. And I've run Night Witch attacks that ended in less than a minute, just to give you an idea how fast they can go. And that's why you want to drop your Night Witches more or less together. If you do it in a corner, you drop them all in one spot. If you do it straight line style, you drop them just relatively close to each other, because you're going to get more power to your attack by dropping them to where those bats will cluster. But there's a big danger there, and we'll talk about it in a second. If they're all close together, that means splash damage or a mega mine can take them all out, and your attack is over before it begins. And that's because the Night Witch is a relatively weak troop. At level 16, she's only got a whopping 389 hit points, and it doesn't take much to take that down. Multi-mortar, probably your biggest enemy, simply because it is a ranged weapon. Properly designed, many bases will position the multi-mortar in such a way that it can reach the outer edge of the base and do a significant amount of damage on ground troops trying to break through the outer layer or the walls. So you want to arrange your pathing in such a way as to avoid the multi-mortar if you can. And it's not the only thing that can get them, though. I mean, the double cannon will take out one Night Witch with a single salvo, 98 points per shot in that. So 4 shots is going to take out the Night Witch. The roaster delivers 300 damage points all by itself, so even though it can't take out a Night Witch, it's going to get it pretty close, and heaven help if they've actually been a little bit damaged. The Mega Tesla, that's another one. Hits 2 troops courtesy of the Chain Lightning. Each blast of a Mega Tesla from level 1 has over 400 damage points. So that means each blast of a Mega Tesla into a group of witches takes out 2 witches, and you're probably only going to go in with 6 or 8. So, talking about that, how many should you take in? I like to mix it up. Sometimes I go 3 and 3, other times I go 4 and 2, where I'll have 4 camps of Night Witches and 2 camps of beta minions. There's been a couple times when I've gone 2 and 4 where I've had more of the beta minions, but not often. It's usually the Night Witches that I take mostly in with me. The deployments, either corner or straight line. Corner is probably the most common, especially in that uppermost or top right corner. You'll see people just drop them all up there, but you have to watch out again for the mega mines. So sometimes it's better to drop one, then wait a couple seconds, let her get ahead, and drop the rest of your pack. At the same time, watch out for mega mines that might be halfway down between the top corner and the upper corner of the base, because people will do that. They learn not to just put them in the top corner anymore. You can drop your battle machine up there, but I don't like doing that because I want the battle machine to live a little bit longer. I want them to do a little bit more damage. So what I typically will do if it's a corner deployment is drop just one, let her walk ahead about maybe an inch or so, and then drop the rest of the pack. Worst case scenario, I lose one Night Witch. Not too bad. Straight line deployment. Sometimes the base is laid out in such a way that an attack from one side makes sense. You won't get quite the clustering of bats that you get with a corner attack, but that's okay. You know, it still works pretty well. When do I use this? I use this when I see an opportunity for my beta minions to wreak a little more havoc along a side than bringing them in from the top. It's especially useful if, all the key defenses have been centralized, which of course is the primary defense against Night Witches. Get that multi-mortar in the middle. But you still have to watch out for the minefields, especially at Builder Hall 8, because everybody, as you advance through the game, you get a little bit better at kind of directing your opponent's attacks to get them to deploy on a particular spot within the game grid. And if you figure out how to do that, and I've talked about this in some of my other videos, in some of the base design videos, if you figure out how to do that, you know that that's where they're coming from, and you can mine the living daylights out of that particular attack vector. Well, that doesn't just work against Rage Barbarians and Cannon Cards, that works against Night Witches too. So when you do a straight line attack, make sure that you spread your Night Witches out enough that they're not all going to go down to, you know, 1 or 2 mega mines or 2, you know, regular mines. And you may want to consider a little bit earlier deployment on your battle machine so that you can get the battle machine in there, help ferret things out a little bit as well. Talking again about the battle machine, you'll see in these particular replays and in the ones I show in our second look, battle machine tends to come in a little bit later. It doesn't go down right away, and that's okay as long as you can keep your Night Witches alive. As long as the bats do their thing and the beta minions do their thing, you're going to be fine. That's not going to be a problem. Just make sure that you deploy him early enough that he's not just doing cleanup. This is not a strategy where you can put your battle machine in on just cleanup. It doesn't work that way. Okay. Talking a little bit more about tanks, we talk about Jai Witch. You can mix it up and take 1 camp of giants instead of 3 camps of beta minions and 3 camps of Night Witches. I'd probably replace the beta minions if I was going to do that. And if you do decide to do that, to mix it up with a, I don't know, we'll call it a Giant Mitch, if you want to, or a Boxer Mitch, or I don't know, we'll have to come up with a name. You'll want to kind of fiddle around with it a little bit because you need to work on the spacing and pathing of the Boxer Giants as well. Remember, with any kind of tank, you don't want the Night Witches to be too close to them when the mortar shells start to drop, because they will take on the splash damage as well. Okay, what kind of bases can you use this against? Really, any. It works against any base. It just depends on the defensive levels and the layouts. We've talked about things that are more centralized. Obviously, they're a little bit tougher to take down with it. I like to use it between 3,500 to 4,500. But there are plenty of players that are using a higher. I think Ed was up around 5,000 when he was doing these. Last time I looked, he was right around 4,800. A lot of us are working toward season reset here. So you can use it on just about any kind of base and at just about any level in the game. Your best defenses, overlapping defense zones, cannons, double cannons, giant cannons. Put them in a way that they can hit the common ingress points. You want the multi-mortar to be centralized. You want... really, the strong hub design, I think, is the best one to use, no matter how you cut it. So that's what I usually recommend. And that's our first look video at the Mitch attack strategy. I'll have a second look coming up here, a revisit, if you will, probably in the next week or so. And we'll have another 4, 5, 6 different replays. Try to get some straight lines in there to show you a little bit more of those. As I said, a lot of people like to do the corner. On that note, if you enjoyed the video, please do hit like down below and subscribe to the channel. Help me build it. Hit that little bell and you'll be notified every time I post a new video. I appreciate you all sticking around to the end. And if you got any comments or questions, be sure to hit me up down below in the comments section or drop me an email, knockterror@gmail.com. Thanks a lot, and I'll talk at you later. Keep on clashing. Bye-bye.